What's up, guys? Ross here. And the NASCAR Cup Series race at Darlington, the playoff opener, finished about 10 minutes ago. I already have my notes down, so we're going to talk about that. The Xfinity race yesterday, not as great as I wanted it to be for both races, but still pretty decent. So the Xfinity race on Saturday, a bunch of Cup guys in it. It was Denny Hamlin running his one Xfinity race a year, getting the win, holding off Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer, Josh Berry, Riley Herbst, Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, Kyle Busch, and Justin Haley running at the top 10. Other notables, Brandon Jones, who is in a must-win scenario, in 14th. Ross Chastain ends up 23rd. And Parker Kligerman, who came into this race plus 20, ends up 24th after getting spun out by Sam Mayer. With this, Josh Berry and Sheldon Creed are locked into the playoffs on points. Now, going into the regular season finale at Kansas next week, Daniel Hemrick is in by 55. He just can't have a catastrophic day. Riley Herbst in by 1, and then Parker Kligerman out by 1. So that's going to be pretty fun to watch that battle. And Brandon Jones out by 79. He needs to win. And Brandon Jones has won at Kansas before, so he knows how to win there. And the Southern 500, which once again finished like 10 minutes ago. Playoff drivers going up and down, tons of playoff drivers having issues. So we'll get to that. But in the end, it was Kyle Larson getting his 3rd win of the year. First, after finishing second 3 times at Darlington, wins the Southern 500. Automatically locked into the round of 12 with this win. So good for that 5 team. They were fast. They started 18th and were able to drive their way up through the field. The guy who was running in the top 5 all day long, Tyler Reddick, ends up 2nd. Just too little, too late. He just couldn't get to Larson. Chris Buescher ends up 3rd. William Byron ends up 4th. They were all right there in the end. A big drive for Ross Chastain, ends up 5th. He was running around 23rd the entire race. But turned it up as the laps wind down. Brad Keselowski ends up 6th. Bubba Wallace ends up 7th. As for him, Chase Elliott in 8th as the first non-playoff driver. Ryan Blaney in 9th, and Eric Jones in 10th, another non-playoff driver. The other playoff drivers, Kyle Busch ends up in 11th. Joey Logano in 12th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 16th. Martin Truex Jr. in 18th. Kevin Harvick, who was running top 5, made a mistake on pit road and never rebounded from it, ends up 19th. Christopher Bell at the first 40 laps had issues all night after that, ends up 23rd. Denny Hamlin, who led most of the race, won both stages, had a loose wheel had to come back down to pit road and ends up 25th. And then Michael McDowell DNFs. I'm pretty sure Michael McDowell DNFs, so that's going to hurt his run. Austin Cindric and Ty Gibbs were in an incident. Daniel Suarez and Alex Bowman were in a little bit of a wreck, collecting Harrison Burton. So yeah, that's pretty much everything at Darlington. And now we go look at the playoff standings heading into next Sunday's race at Kansas. As we know, Kyle Larson is locked in to the round of 12 with his win. William Byron plus 40 is in by 45. He's fine. Tyler Reddick is in by 30. Chris Buescher and Denny Hamlin are in by 27. They're all fine. Martin Truex Jr. in by 25. He's also all right. Then it starts to go a little... Kyle Busch in by 20. Brad Keselowski in by 18. Ryan Blaney in by 16. Ross Chastain in by 13. Joey Logano in by 3. Logano had a couple issues as well, especially in stage 2, and it was like -7 for a while, but we were able to drive back up. And then Christopher Bell is only in by, and then 1 point separates that final spot between Christopher Bell and Bubba Wallace. Bell ends up 23rd. Wallace ends up in 7th. So that'll say a lot. And then Kevin Harvick out by 2. I think Harvick could have very well won this race if he didn't make that mistake on pit road. If he didn't make that mistake. But he finishes 19th and is now -2. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is out by 4, so not a terrible race for Stenhouse. He was a lap down for most of the race and was there when it gets a respectable finish. But Michael McDowell, DNFs, he's out by 19. It's going to be tough to make up those points at a track like Kansas. That's not a track you make up points on, especially if you're Michael McDowell. So we'll see what happens next week at Kansas. The Xfinity, the second race for the Cups, the elimination race of the round of 10 for the Truck Series, the regular season finale for the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series round of 16 race 2 will all be next weekend at Kansas. And I hope you guys are excited, because I know I'm excited. And yeah, this is the last video of the summer, because I start school on Thursday. So after that, things are going to start getting a little hectic. So I'll try my best to post every week for the playoffs. So that's it for me. This is Ross Belkin signing out. Good night, everybody.